Washington Post. USDA orders scientists to say published research is preliminary. The July 2018 memo from Shavno Jacobs-Young, the acting USDA chief scientist, told researchers their reports published in scientific journals must include a statement that reads, the findings and conclusions in this preliminary publication have not been formally disseminated by the U.S. Department of Agriculture and should not be construed to represent any agency determination or policy. The disclaimer appears to conflict with the integrity policy that governs research at the USDA, said Susan Offerwitt, who was the administrator of the Economic Research Service at USDA Statistical Agency under Presidents Bill Clinton and George W. Bush. The claim that reports are not formally disseminated runs counter to the USDA policy that permits and indeed encourages researchers to publish in scientific journals, Offutt said. William Tinkle, the USDA Departmental Scientific Integrity Officer, released a statement in response to questions from the Washington Post that addressed the formally disseminated term in the required language. Dissemination is a term of art used for publication of official positions of one or more agencies of the federal government. It is defined, he said, as agency-initiated or sponsored distribution of information to the public. Outside scientific publications can be factual presentations of data that do not present any policy or position of the federal government. That was a lot of legal jargon.
So my takeaway from this is they don't want to be affiliated with any of this published research.
Guess. I don't get it.
I didn't really get it either, to be honest, because anytime you publish something in the literature, it's always subject to correction.
Maybe that's why they don't want that.
But you can't just say that this is the truth. You could get new evidence later that makes whatever you publish false unintentionally. That's what I don't understand, is the literature is always already evolving.
Yeah.
So why do you have to add an additional disclaimer?
I don't know.
I
CYA
really
cover your ass kind of thing?
I guess.
I don't know. CBS News. Amazon and Walmart testing program to let food stamp recipients buy groceries online. Amazon and Walmart kicked off a 2-year pilot established by the government to allow low-income shoppers on government food assistance in New York to shop and pay for their groceries online. ShopRite will join the retailers early next week, said the USDA. USDA has long required that customers using electronic benefits transfer or EBT pay for their purchases at actual time and place of sale. More than 40 million individuals receive food stamps in the U.S., according to the USDA. Amazon said those who qualify don't need to be Prime members to buy groceries with their benefits. They'll get free access to its Amazon Fresh service, which delivers meat, dairy, and fresh produce to shoppers' doorsteps. And they'll also be able to use Prime Pantry, which delivers packaged goods like cereal and canned food. However, they'll need to spend over a certain amount to qualify for free shipping, $50 at Amazon Fresh and $25 on Amazon.com. Interesting.
Now, I was curious what you thought of that.
40 million people? That's a lot of people. And, I used to work for government in kind of the welfare side of things, and we had an issue with fraud. And those that I know that work the food stamps, they say the fraud is worse. So this is just going to make it easier. And a lot of people are against the stigma. Whenever I mention this, they say, what, do you want to line up outside a truck and on Saturday and blah, blah, blah. I don't know, but being able to Amazon Prime everything isn't going to really help the fraud.
Yeah, I mean, on one hand, I do want those that need food to have easy access to it, especially, if you're
families,
disabled.
you don't have a vehicle or something. Exactly, yeah.
But at the same time, if people are already abusing the system, what's going to happen? Yeah.
So, and it's being abused now. So once you can order stuff on, it's going to be a lot of abuse. Whole episode right there of a certain different kind of podcast. New York Times, don't count on 23andMe to detect most breast cancer risks, study warns. In 2010, Dr. Pamela Munster mailed her saliva to 23andMe and later opted for a BRCA test. As an oncologist, she knew a mutation of this gene would put her at high risk for breast and ovarian cancer. She was relieved by the negative result. 2 years later, after she learned she had breast cancer, she took a more complete genetic test from a different lab. This time, it was positive. A study of 100,000 people released earlier this month suggested that this experience could be widespread. Nearly 90% of participants who carried BRCA mutation would have been missed by 23andMe's test, geneticists found. 23andMe's testing formula for risk is built around just 3 genetic variants, most prevalent among Ashkenazi Jews. The study demonstrated that most people carry other mutations of the gene, something many doctors have long suspected. 23andMe now has more than 10 million customers. Even if only a small percentage take the test, that's thousands who could be misled. The study was presented at the American College of Medical Genetics and Genomics annual meeting and has not been peer-reviewed. It was built around more than 100,000 patients who underwent breast cancer risk testing with Invitae, a diagnostic company. In about 5,000 subjects, analysts identified at least one variant known to significantly increase an individual's risk of breast and ovarian cancer. Among the Ashkenazi Jews in the positive groups, 81% had one of the three founder mutations, suggests that 23andMe's test could be helpful for them. Among the rest, 94% carried variants that would have failed to be detected by 23andMe. Good old 23andMe.
Yeah. This brings us back to when we talked about the genetic testing with dogs and how, it depends on what markers they're looking for. And it's the same thing with the 23andMe. And that's also why you may have misleading, even, genetic history tests. And it comes up with crazy answers because they're only looking for certain markers. So
Yeah.
it isn't really accurate.
It's very limited.
And then you still have to think about what data you gave away for no information.
For the wrong information.
Yeah.
Not just no information, for the wrong information.
Yeah.
Science Daily. Using CRISPR gene editing, a team from Children's Hospital of Philadelphia and Penn Medicine have thwarted a lethal lung disease in an animal model in which a harmful mutation causes death within hours of afterbirth. The proof of concept study published today, whenever that was, in Science Translation Medicine showed that in utero editing could be a promising new approach for treating lung disease before birth. The lung conditions the team are hoping to solve: congenital diseases such as surfactant protein deficiency, cystic fibrosis, and alpha-1 antitrypsin, there you go, are characterized by respiratory failure at birth or chronic lung disease with a few options for therapy. About 22% of all pediatric hospital admissions are because of respiratory disorders, and congenital causes of respiratory diseases are often lethal despite advances in care and a deeper understanding of their molecular causes.
Yeah, this was super cool, this study.
Very fancy.
We
talked
it really
about DIY CRISPR last week.
Yeah, but this also
garage.
shows promise for, fixing maybe birth defects and other mutations, catching genetic mutations early.
Yep.
Of course, on the flip side is where does that end type?
Are we talking about that movie Gattaca?
Yeah, essentially. That's where CRISPR could lead.
Exactly. That's where do we draw the line?
Yeah. And obviously you want to prevent fatal conditions.
I would say that's where you draw the line. Yeah. Fatal condition, nothing else.
But then
mental, nothing else. No physical. It's only fatal. How about that?
Then you get into people with disabilities, and
that's fine.
I know a lot of people with disabilities are kind of unhappy with this because it's like people want to erase people with disabilities.
I don't know. I'm scared. I'm scared of all that stuff. I watched way too much science fiction growing up. I am scared.
Yeah, we've probably talked too much about this, but askahealthytalkshow.com. We could totally do a deep dive on ethics. I've been wanting to.
Oh, ethics.
It's very interesting.
Oh, yeah. Let's do it.
I'd love to hear from all people.
Yes.
What you think, especially people with disabilities. Would you wish that you had been gene edited? Or
we gotta watch Gattaca now. I'm scared.
Askahealthytalkshow.com. I want to know.
ABC7, eating just one slice of bacon a day linked to higher risk of colorectal cancer, study says.
A study finds that eating just one slice of bacon a day could increase your risk of developing colorectal cancer. Researchers in England tracked 500,000 adults over a 5-year period. They found that for every 25 grams of processed meat eaten each day, a person's risk of colorectal cancer went up by 20%. 25 grams equates to a thin slice of bacon. Red meat also leads to an increased risk, but it takes a larger amount of that to cause the same effect.
It was a UK biobank study. That's what it says. Cox regression models to estimate adjusted hazard ratios for cancer.
Well,
and everyone was covering this. CNN, eating just one slice of bacon a day linked to higher risk of cancer, study says. International, everyone, BBC, everyone's on this. What do you think? Well, question from the chat, sorry. One slice a day. First off, who only eats one slice? And secondly, who eats a slice of bacon a day? I know someone who does.
there's a lot of
My
things
uncle.
to say. The problem is they only studied the UK population. So once again, very limited study.
Yep.
So I'm not sure what this says about everybody else. But on the other hand, there have been lots of other studies linking red meat or processed meat to higher risk of cancers and other diseases.
Mhm.
So,
I'm going to send this to my uncle. Because
does he eat bacon every day?
He used to put bacon, he used to put it in the refrigerator in a Ziploc bag and eat it like chips during the day.
Oh my
Just take it out of the
gosh.
bag and just start eating cold bacon.
That's crazy.
What are you doing?
Wait.
Your body.
Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of alternatives, though. There's turkey bacon.
There's
A little better for you.
tofu bacon, which doesn't taste good.
Yeah, but eat more fruits and veggies and lean meat.
Yes, more on that later. CBS Sacramento. It's legal for your meat to have trace amounts of fecal matter.
One group is calling for meat labels in grocery stores to add the phrase, "This product may contain feces." An attorney for Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, Deborah Press, tells CNN the request is tongue-in-cheek, but adds they believe this is a real issue. The USDA told CNN that they have a zero-tolerance policy for fecal material on meat and poultry, but Press, the attorney, says the policy only applies to fecal matter that's visible on the production line. PCRM, the group, says they tested chicken products and found 48% tested positive for fecal contamination. Their petition cited a Consumer Reports study that found more than half of the packages of raw ground meat and patties tested positive for fecal bacteria.
Yep. They're an interesting group. Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine have been asking about fecal matter contained in birds we eat on a daily basis for about 6 years, according to them. In 2013, they sent a petition to USDA asking for it to change its rules regarding fecal contamination and remove the word wholesome from the way it labels its categorizes its food once it's passed inspection. The PCRM, Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, filed a Freedom of Information Act request asking for records regarding the number of USDA poultry inspectors' detection rates for visible fecal contamination in poultry, average poultry line speed, USDA poultry inspection rates, and inspection training. On Tuesday, April 16th, the group filed a lawsuit in federal district court based in Washington, D.C. Their lawsuit says USDA violated the Freedom of Information Act by failing to respond to the FOIA request about the fecal contamination rates. Federal law requires that agencies respond to FOIA requests within 20 days of the agency receiving them. Woo-wee. Craziness.
Yeah.
FOIA requests. I used to get those all the time. Well, I used to get CPRAs. A little different.
Well, my question is, so how are they going to solve this, I guess? Because in reading the article, it sounds like you would totally have to change how we currently mass produce food.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the issue. And they mentioned how that poultry, they used to process 140 birds per minute, which already sounds insane. Yeah. And then they raised the limit to 175 birds per minute. So there's no way that they can physically, examine all these birds with their eyes, just like you said. So then,
no, there is a way. There absolutely is a way.
What do you mean?
5G.
Gosh, dang it! I fell for your trap.
Fell for it. Dang it!
But
gotcha. Yeah, I have no idea because that's fast. How the hell can you scan something that
you
fast?
Can't.
You can't do it. You cannot scan something that fast.
But, from the chat, they do bring up a point. A little bit of feces never hurt anyone. It's kind of true.
It's very true.
Yeah, you cook it to temperature, make sure it's cooked properly, and all the E. coli should be
That's half the battle right there, or 75%.
Yeah. Cook your food.
Cook your food properly. Cook your meat properly.
Otherwise, again, we got to totally revolutionize the industry, the meat industry.
That's a good point. In the chat, 5G, kill the birds. You don't have to process them. Just take them out of the sky. Here you go. All right, New York Times. Here's Soylent's new product. It's food. Soylent, the contrarian food replacement company that made its name pushing drinkable meals to its time-crunched Silicon Valley workers, on Thursday unleashed the next best thing. Soylent Squared, a 100-calorie chewable mini meal, which is not a cube, but instead a perfect square. Soylent Squared will only be available online upon its debut and will cost $30 for 30 bars. Comes in 3 flavors: chocolate, brownie, citrus berry, and salted caramel. In 2017, the Canadian Food Inspector Agency informed Soylent that its product didn't meet agency requirements for a meal replacement, which halted the company's expansion in that country. Here's the interesting point, probably why they're not selling this through retailers, only directly or through their online website. 2016, the first attempt at solid Soylent, the food bar was quickly pulled from circulation after customers reported vomiting and diarrhea. Very good there. So that's why they're trying to control the supply chain a little bit better there. Oh, crap, people are getting sick. Stop shipping. Oh, no shit. All right, and we have Price Plow. I don't know what these. I was looking for the ingredients on these things, so we have them right here. And this, according to Price Plow, and they're very. What are they against? Canola oil.
Yeah.
This whoever these. I don't know. They're some company. I don't know.
People go back and forth on canola oil.
Yeah.
I'm
look at
not
all these.
sure.
Look at all these things. My goodness gracious! Look at all that. And then look at what we eat. Look at the bars we eat. The Pressed by Kind. Here are the ingredients right here. Get them at Costco. Apples, strawberries, cherries, chia seeds, palm kernel oil, sugar, chicory root fiber, unsweetened chocolate, cocoa powder, soy lecithin, natural flavor, sea salt, cocoa butter. Contains soy. Yeah, unfortunately. But if you go back to theirs, what the hell is that? A lot of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it's all very processed. A lot of people swear by it, but
yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know either. A lot of people swear by it. A lot of very healthy people swear by it. That's what's.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Me personally, I prefer taking in my nutrients naturally.
As naturally as possible.
A lot of people claim that that's a better way to do it, but maybe we'll look more into it. AskAHealthyTalkShow.com if you want to talk more about it.
Custom mods Soylent, no. I know. Thank you so much for watching. For more content like this, please check out our podcast over at healthytalkshow.com/subscribe. We're live Mondays at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time over at healthytalkshow.com/live. Love and light.